First episode of the podcast, man. It is here. It is here. It is here. Talking Noise Podcast, episode 1. What's up, people? I'm Derrick.
I'm Mees. Mike Mees. You can call me Mees.
I'm Mark. Better known as Harper.
Harper with that lag over there, I can tell. Now, what's up? But a little bit about me. Let's get some introductions in here. You know, I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. I think all of us from North Carolina, really. Me and Harper grew up together in Fieldstone, you know, the roughest neighborhood out there. And no, but I went to North Carolina A&T, graduated from that for broadcast production. Bachelor's, and I'm working in the media field, you know, at NBC in Philadelphia. So that's just a little bit about me. Me and Mees went to school together at A&T, so that's how we met. Did the same internship together. Then we got our first news job together. So we've been together for about 10 plus years. I've known Mark for about it's been about 20 plus years, right? Since 99. Since 99, when we first moved into the neighborhood, we went to middle school together, we went to high school together. So that's the kind of connections, you know, I had with them. And obviously I'm bringing them together, you know, on this podcast. Mark, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, Mark Harper. Lived in Greensboro most of my life, you know, avid sports fan of all types, especially ball or whatever. I went to GTCC, worked at Procter & Gamble, you know, trying to get my physical fitness back in my early 30s.
Oh, so you're working out now?
Yeah, man. I always been working out. Man. I always been working out.
All right.
I bought a new bike today too. I might have to show you.
Oh yeah, you can send me that other one up here. What's up, Mees?
What's going on? It's Mees. I'm originally from Durham, North Carolina. I currently reside on the West Coast in Sacramento. Like Derrick said, I went to North Carolina A&T, journalism, broadcast production. I worked in news. I currently work in news. I work for a CBS station in Sacramento. I just enjoy sports. I'm a Duke fan. I'm a LeBron fan. Wherever he go, I go. And I'm a Patriot fan. Been a Patriot fan since the first Super Bowl in middle school. I jumped on the bandwagon, so you can call me a bandwagon fan. But I've been a bandwagon fan for over 20 years. So it's been I guess, I don't know.
They've been winning for 20 years, too.
Right, but you can't blame a kid in I was in the 7th grade, so you can't blame a 7th grade kid for choosing the winning team. Like, that's how most people pick their teams anyway. So, but I'm here. I'm happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here. So yeah, let's get it, man.
Oh man, you know we got a lot to talk about. But Mark, you're gonna hear a lot about those Patriots this coming year. We got big things in store. Man. Great offseason. So we're gonna leave that to later. We're gonna leave that to later
for another day.
But you already know, man. NBA trades just came about last Thursday, March 25th was the deadline. So a lot of things happened. Not too many from like previous years. We only had about 16 trades, I think. Means what's some of the like big trades that you thought was out there that you think that happened around the league?
I think, well, if we talking just the trade deadline, or we just talking about overall trades all year? Just
give me like your 3 top trades that you think, you know, probably helped the team or things like that.
The Nets, the James Harden trade is the best trade of the whole year. Like, there's no trade better than that. That's the best acquisition you're going to get, and maybe since AD, but in Kawhi, it's always that one generational player. That's the greatest pickup of the year. But I think a couple of other notable pickups is the Nuggets for sure. They got Aaron Gordon and JaVale McGee. So that just, that size. You can't beat size. It seems like in the NBA now, big men are going for the cheap, man. Like you can get a big man for nothing. So I mean, that was definitely a big pickup.
I guess that can come to like the changing of the league.
Right. Yeah, you know, the league now is like a pace and space. It's pace and space. That's all it's about, pace and space. So it seems like it's not a lot of room for the big man. So that pickup, Aaron Gordon and JaVale McGee, that's huge, man. Blazers, Norman Powell, I think that's you got rid of Rodney Hood. He hasn't done nothing in forever since I don't know when. And then you upgraded, in my opinion, with Gary Trent Jr. From Gary Trent Jr. to Norman Powell. That's an upgrade for right now. Like, I mean, Gary Trent Jr. might be better, you know, a couple years down the road. But, you know, you trying to get this window with Dame Lil, and I think that Norman Powell upgrade, that's huge, man. The Chicago Bulls with Vucevic, I mean, you pairing up, you got Zach LaVine, you got Nikolai Vucevic, and then you didn't even have to give up Lauri Markkanen in the process. And you still got Kobe. You young, but you can make the playoffs. I think they're gonna make a push for the play-in tournament, man. It's gonna be exciting. This is a lot more moves, but those to me were the most notable. Also, Boston with Evan Fournier. That's a good move. It's kind of I like it, but I think y'all should have got some. Y'all should have. That's like going back and basically got back to the level where you were with when you had Gordon Hayward. In my opinion, I don't see it as it's a great addition because you got him for 2 second-round picks, so you didn't lose really anything. But
we didn't. We did.
I would have loved to see right, and that's like.
And I felt like we should have got a splash.
Yeah,
if we was going to use it, or you know.
And I'll go into more on that later.
We can kind of dab into it now. Obviously, you mentioned the Nuggets. You know, getting that size and you know building that front line. You know, to kind of compete with the Lakers. You know, the Lakers just got Andre Drummond. Ain't no telling what he's going to do for y'all, but we know what he brings. So we'll see what happens. Let's be clear. Obviously, you see my Celtics hat on. I do have a Celtics hat on. I am a Celtics fan.
Right.
I am a proud fan. I do hear a lot of talk from Mees all the time with the hate that he has for my boys, the hate that my cousin Neek has for my boys.
Ooh. So sometimes I just be messing with you, man.
Oh, now it's messing.
No, it's true. But sometimes I just take it a little extra just because.
But hold on, wait. Before we get there, y'all forgot about the best trade.
What was that?
Oladipo going to Miami is the biggest wild card trade, man.
That's
you're looking at the team. You're looking at the runners up from last year,
right?
And the potential in Oladipo. He doesn't have to be the Oladipo from Indiana. He got Butler. He got Hero. He got Duncan beside. He got Bam in the middle.
That's true.
He can shine more in a lesser role, man. I think they're even more dangerous.
Yeah, they got Bielisa too. I mean, which I know he's not Oladipo, but he's a big that can stretch the floor. There's more size and he can shoot it. So I mean, you can't never get too much of a big guy that can shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like that's huge. So that is true.
And that's my thing with, you know, this trade deadline, how teams that make that push to get over the hump and add that 1 or 2 pieces to kind of make you compete. And, you know, and maybe in the first round, because or the second round in your late rounds, because most of the teams, the record doesn't show that they are good teams, but they are decent teams when it comes to the paper and who they got on the team, if that makes sense.
Right.
And so when you playing in the playoffs and you getting that 1 to 8 or 2 to 7, like you playing against a decent team, even though they're not seeded at that top 4 spots.
Right.
These are solid ball clubs, and so when people making push at the deadline to actually, you know, put pieces around their stars per se, that's what my thing is about Danny Ainge, which we'll talk about later. How obviously the last 6 years we haven't made a trade in season, and from what he did We did. We have now.
Technically.
So technically, so we have now. But we'll hit on that. We got a lot to talk about. Obviously, what NBA teams you think got better right now, and who you think the favorite is right now?
Clearly, the Nuggets.
I say the
Go ahead,
Heat
Mark.
by.
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
I'd say
Do y'all want to do power rankings overall in the
Mark.
NBA?
Well, let's just.
Or you want to do East West? Let's talk about the East.
All right, yeah, go ahead, Mark.
I love Denver's moves. I don't know if it's gonna work. It should. Gordon, he's a good player, man. I don't know how good he is. He should kind of have the same with the Oladipo effect, where he's gonna be asked to do a lot less, so he should shine more in a smaller role if he's ready to take a smaller. Again, I say the Oladipo, I feel like the Heat got the best because Oladipo can do things that Butler can't do, especially on the offensive end.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the game, when it's time to hit a big shot, he wants that. You know, you need guys like that on your team that want that moment, even if that's all he really contributes to the game. That's a big part, and the Heat were missing that last year.
And obviously they were a good defensive team in the NBA last year, so hopefully Oladipo can provide some kind of spark on the defensive end. We'll see. But obviously in the playoffs, you got to have some defense.
Yeah, you do. I mean, if we talk in the East, I mean, I would have to. The Nets are the clear favorites. I mean, they're
definitely.
I mean, if we even talking about just buyout, like LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, they don't need them guys, man. Like they don't need them. They just added them for just to have depth. So it's like they're the clear favorites. But I think the Heat gained some ground with Oladipo by Lisa. And I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to sign. I don't know how many more roster spots they have, but they're going to sign somebody else probably. Or they may. I'm pretty sure Pat Riley got something else up his sleeve. But I would say them. The set. Beside in the East, I would have to say the Heat made the most ground. And in the West, I would have to say the Nuggets. The Nuggets are just, I'm scared of the Nuggets, man. Like, they can, like, if you think about their lineups, like, just think about, they could run Murray at the 1, Barton at the 2, MPJ at the 3, Gordon at the 4, and Jokic at the 5. You don't even need a point guard. You have Jokic. He's your point guard. So, I mean, it's just scary. I just be thinking about. I be running lineups in my head, especially for the Nuggets, man. They're scary. That's why it was necessary that
Mark,
the Lakers
you hear him?
Drummond. It was necessary.
He sounded a little nervous for his Lakers.
I'm scared of the Nuggets.
He sounded a little nervous.
Like people talk about the Nets, and I mean the Nets is scary, but I'm not scared of the Nets. For one, they got to come out the East. Like you got to get through the East. I don't. Just because they good on paper don't mean they going. That's like what people did with the Clippers last year. They had the Clippers coming, winning the championship. They look great on paper, but you got to play, and you can't help if somebody don't show up or if somebody get injured. But I like what they bring, but the Nuggets are just they're deep, man, and they scary and they big. You can't to me, size is what's going to win because the league is just so out of size that if you can do what you best with your big lineup, you're going to win. That's what the Lakers. Yeah, that's what the Lakers kind of did last year. So I mean, it's scary, man.
I will say this though. You mentioned the Clippers. Sneakily, and of course it won't be regular season because that's just not him.
That's dope.
But Rondo is a big pickup. Man.
No, the Clippers are scary
more so for him being on the floor, but now the Clippers have what I feel like they did not have on their team at all last year, a leader, a talker, somebody who going, look, this is what we're going to do. This is how we need to do this. They didn't have that.
And it's somebody that's respected. I'm sorry, but it's somebody like, Pat Bev, I'm sure is respected, but he's not, he don't have rings. He don't have finals experience. He don't have, the basketball IQ that Rajon Rondo has. And for the Clippers to get that is huge. That is huge. So, yeah, you're right.
The Rondo pickup was good to have a point guard. Obviously, they didn't have a true point guard to kind of facilitate that team. And, obviously we talked about last year when they didn't have a leader and nobody to lead them guys because Kawhi wasn't too vocal. PG, he was in his struggles. You need somebody to kind of help you get out of that.
Right.
We thought Doc Rivers. We thought he would step in and I
mean, it's only so much that a coach can do. Like a coach can't do all that. Like, I think people put too much on Doc Rivers. Like, Doc, this is the NBA. The NBA is a players' league. If this was college, then I'd be like, all right, Doc, you need to get your boys together. But this is a players' league. At the end of the day, the coaches, they draw up the game plan and they tell you what, this is what we want to do. But the players got to go out there and execute, and they the ones that they make more money than the coaches. So how you look like, you know what I'm saying? It's a players' league.
And what did they get? What did that do to Doc Rivers? They got him fired, right?
They got him fired for no reason. Like, I don't think Doc should have got fired though. Like it was like they put too much blame on Doc. Doc can't make Kawhi go in there.
It was a lot of Doc's fault, and I say this: yeah, it's a players' league and all of that, but these players still need to be coached. They still need to be coached, man. And look at Popovich. Y'all are fans of the New England Patriots. Look how Bill Belichick runs his team. All them guys professionals, they're great athletes, but they have to be coached. You got to be.
You can't coach like attitude or like.
You don't need to coach the attitude.
You can't make Kawhi like. You can pull Kawhi. How many times can you pull Kawhi to the side and say, "Hey, Kawhi, you need to talk to these boys. Like, you need to say something like in the locker room, player like Kawhi." That's not Kawhi. Kawhi not gonna do that. But Doc can say, "We need to do this. Y'all need to do this, that, and the third so many times." But it's different when it comes from Kawhi. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody respected Paul George last year, at least. So it's like
there's levels. You know what could get Paul George some respect other than him being Paul George on the court? Yo, man, don't go to a press conference. Get mad. That's me and Derrick talking the other day. These NBA players, man, they don't get mad, man. Nothing is, we'll get him next game, or that's my boy over there. It's too much of that, man. You gotta have some guys out there that's willing to stand out, even if it's perceived negatively. That gets you respect. That's how you get that respect. Now, you look at Kawhi, he do it with his game. It's a solid killer. But he's always had that structure everywhere he went. Look at the Spurs with the coach, Popovich, Duncan, Parker, Ginobili. Then you go over, Kyle Lowry was the clear leader of that team, still is. And now he's going to a place where it's like, all right, I'm the leader, I'm the man, I'm the accomplished guy here. So they're looking at me like a leader, but I'm not a leader.
Yeah, right. But I do think Ty Lue is a better coach for Kawhi Leonard because Ty Lue, he's more like, even when he coached LeBron, like he'll tell you, he told
LeBron to do something.
Right, maybe Ty's a little younger, so Ty can get.
I agree with that.
Ty can get with you. Like, come on, man. Like, you don't need that Kawhi. Like, Ty can tell him, like, hey, look, man.
I'm sure Ty Lue grew up the same way that a lot of his players did now. So to that point, I agree with that.
Exactly. He can relate.
Yeah, but I will say, if we talking about the X's and O's side of this game, I don't feel like Ty Lue is gonna get you there. I'm sorry.
Why not?
Because they don't have a talent that is LeBron James on their team, first of all, and that's where he found his success. He did find the success. I've never really seen from Ty Lue like really adjusting in the games like he should. Like, it feels like if you watch the Clippers, if the Clippers look bad in the first quarter, they look just as bad.
They look just as bad in the third, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, to me, that is coaching. You know what I'm saying? And then,
right. Well, could one reason be because, I mean, he's a fairly new coach. Like, he's new to this organization, so they still trying to figure out. But I mean, I agree with you on that part. He's not as he was, but it won't his system. It won't.
He's not a new voice.
He's still a system,
he's not a new voice.
But when you implement your system, it's different. But I agree with you, though. Don't get it twisted. I agree with you because I don't think Ty Lue is like a real X and O guy. He's more of a player's coach. He can handle egos and he can do all that. And then he probably surrounds himself with coaches that can kind of pick up that and like offense, like their offensive coordinators, defensive coordinator, they can kind of pick up the play-by-play and the X's and O's, like you were saying.
And you got to think that's, again, not to toot your boy's horn here, but when he has LeBron James at his disposal, I know it makes the game a lot easier.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Because LeBron's going to handle all of this stuff on the floor, so you just got to kind of make sure me and you on board.
Right.
It was more so with them.
Correct. And that was my point. What they lacked last year in the playoffs and what they got as a leader and a voice that will hold these players accountable. And also, I mean, you down 3-1, second round. That don't come down to coaching?
Yep.
Making adjustments?
I mean, you can make adjustments, but if they not out there executing,
but he's known for that.
But I mean, yeah,
he's known for
I can't back you up.
Me,
He is. Doc is known for that. He is definitely known for that. Who do y'all think got worse? Like teams got worse after the deadline?
Worse? It's kind of hard.
Teams who made a deal or teams that should have made a deal?
You can say teams that should have made a deal.
Whoever you feel, really.
Well, I will say my own team again. I know we've been talking about the Celtics a bit, but Daniel Tice going. I know
we're gonna talk about the Celtics. This is our podcast. We're gonna talk about the Celtics. What you talking about?
I know my man ain't the best center ever, man, but my man was a great 6-man. He's a great 4-5 combo guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can shoot it a little bit. Good IQ. He can run the rim, man. We're going to miss him, man, just for that salary dump or whatever. I understood why I have to get Fournier or whatever, but I feel like we should have pivoted from that. I will say, too, Charlotte, who did make a small move, I wish they would have got a big man, like you're saying right now, which they
they needed some help down there.
But they need a big
that kind of move. That'll move like Washington to, I think, they're like a choose house 4, or you can move them up to a 3 and play them there, and put Zeller at a 4 and get a big man down there. But I mean, Tice was what he was. He will protect the rim. He always gonna go out a shot, even if he get dunked on. He gonna do that. He was a good scorer around the rim. He will finish. Played above the rim, but the defensive effort from him was pretty much, I'm guessing, pretty much what got him out of Boston, and obviously the salary dump and things like that. But he was, and we always talked about this. He was terrible on defense. Couldn't slide his feet. Always in foul trouble. Always in foul trouble.
Yeah.
Always looking at the refs like, what I do? What I do?
That's everybody.
He did that every game. He did that every game. He's not a quality big man when you 6'9".
Yeah, he's 6'9".
He's 6'9". He's not guarding on Embiid. He's not guarding on Embiid.
I guarantee you there's more 6'9" centers on every starting team than there are guys over 6'11". I guarantee that.
I don't know.
He might be right.
I wouldn't say that.
He might be right. He might be right.
Bull center over 6'9".
Bull center. What's his name? Bulls.
Vucevic. Yeah.
Okay. He's a center. Well, he's a center.
Embiid.
Vucevic.
Oh yeah. Most centers would be. Most starting centers would be over. You start off the game with probably
over 6'11".
Over 6. Oh no.
Wait, you said 6'9". You said Tice height.
Come
on now.
Okay,
over 6'9".
You said most centers in the league. Yeah, taller than Tice.
It's not many.
I mean, it's over 15. It's over. It's probably over 20 plus teams.
When they get in their rotation and when they get, when they finish in the game, it's probably
Porzingis.
Somebody got to do the job.
It was Robinson before he got hurt from the Knicks. Robinson from the Knicks.
It's a lot closer than you think. I'll say that. It's a lot closer than you think.
It ain't that close, but I mean, to each his own. Talk about the Celtics Lakers. So you talking about
to that point.
You talking about the Kyrie. Let me hit on this. You talking about the Kyrie, which we always discuss. The first game against the Cavs when Gordon Hayward fell and broke his ankle. And from then we thought, I mean, this is the year for us to put this thing together and actually make a deep run in the playoffs and maybe get to the finals. And then that devastating injury happened. That kind of messed up the plan, what we say the Ainge was kind of trying to put together. And then maybe, like Mark always hit on, maybe AD was in that plan. And we never know what would happen. Maybe that's when you get rid of a Jaylen Brown or some pieces or some picks. So that was kind of a start for the Celtics. And also, let's get to last year. You in the draft with 3 first-round picks. And the year before that, when you had some picks.
4 first-round picks.
When you had some picks to, get rid of, you didn't make a splash to get some bench players or get these missing pieces that we lost from the teams before. So it's been building up for what you see today. Yes, he made a trade in the middle of the season, but was it enough? Was it a splash? No. And I gave it a D for my grade right now. If we would have got Drummond, I probably would have pushed it up a little bit, but we'll see. They talking about DeMarcus Cousins, but that's just my thoughts right now on the team. And we'll kind of hit on some other stuff about these thoughts. But what you was about to say, Harper?
About that season with the Gordon Hayward, I feel like to me that was the worst thing that happened. One, I think that's one of the biggest reasons Hayward left. When Hayward signed up to be, all right, I'm going to play for the Celtics. Our team was Isaiah Thomas, Al Horford, Jay Crowder. I can keep going. None of that team was there even at that following when the season started, really. His first game, he breaks his leg. We don't even really know what Tatum is, and we had these assumptions that, man, we could go to the finals. That's before we really even knew who Tatum was other than Summer League. Brown wasn't there yet. So, I mean, we had 2 teams on 2 different trajectories for up until last year. And I know that was hard for Ainge to be like, I'm pretty sure Brown and Tatum initially, all right, I'm going to get these guys. I'm going to scout the best players I can, pick the best players that I can. And then I'm going to trade what I need to trade to get Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do an Anthony Davis, Isaiah Thomas, Gordon Hayward, and then I'm going to fill in my team around that. Again, Mees, kind of like what you're saying they kind of need to do now. That team would have been ready to play for a championship. No, not even Isaiah Thomas. It would have been Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Gordon Hayward, with your fill-in around the team. And that, again, that team is
probably with Jaylen Brown because I think they wanted Tatum.
Right, exactly. So now you look at what Tatum turned into in 2 years. We can go to his first year, dunking on LeBron James, Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Wish I had that.
Who else said? Right. He was the best player at least half of those playoff games between him and Brown. You know what I'm saying? And Terry Rozier, who was another guy who was on his rookie contract that you didn't think would turn into this. With Marcus Smart, who's also on his rookie contract. When you draft that well for that many years, it's hard to say, man, I'm just going to cut bait with this guy because I might have James Harden.
It ain't hard. It's a business. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put yourself in the best position to win.
I don't know. If you say it's a business.
So if Anthony Davis is
that's
right
not always how you run a business.
Oh, Jalen, you can go. Like, come
that's
on,
not always
man.
how you run a business. That's not always how you run a
Sometimes
business.
you make
It's
that
not
one move.
always how you, but it's about making choices and the right decisions. It's about making decisions and you living with them or taking a risk. A business sometimes is about taking a risk. Danny don't take risk. Danny Ainge does. I think we can safely say Danny Ainge does not take risks. And sometimes you have to
in a while.
Taking big risks.
Otherwise, you're gonna sit in the. Otherwise, you're gonna sit in the middle, and you're never gonna rise to the top. And that's just what I feel about the Celtics. He's not putting y'all in position to ride, like to rise to the top. He's just putting y'all in position just to compete.
Were we in position last year?
Y'all just needed a big. Y'all got out rebounded by the Heat. The Heat out rebounded y'all.
That was that.
But
we were still
y'all window
the first 2 games. I always go back into the first 2 games of that Eastern Conference Finals when we were up double digits in the 4th quarter and we lost the game. We got them back in and we lost the game. They could have changed the whole series, and you wouldn't be talking about like this right now. You wouldn't be talking like this.
Well, I would because
we've been competing for the last 4 or 5 years in the Eastern Conference Finals going to a game 7 with LeBron, going to a game 5 last year or game 6 last year. We've been competing.
That's my
point.
We
go to the finals one of those years. Again, we're not having this conversation. If y'all
go to the finals, you're right. You wouldn't have this conversation because then you would see, okay, but you're seeing that you're getting.
Why would you trade?
But you're seeing you're getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. You keep getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, or you keep getting a step close to it, but you're not going over. You're not plateauing. So obviously,
blow the team up.
You're not blowing the team up.
That's what I'm saying. Why would you make this big splash?
You're not blowing the team up if you keep Tatum and you go pick up Anthony Davis or James Harden. You're not blowing the team up.
But it's a rental. So then what happens? Right, what happens in the next season when Anthony Davis leaves?
Y'all want to win rings, or y'all want to talk about the next?
Y'all worried about
do you feel like that's championship? Is that a ring? Team. It's you're taking a risk. You have a chance to. If y'all would have got Anthony Davis, and I mean, let's say how you give up Jaylen Brown
Mr.
and you
James,
got Anthony Davis.
King James. Let me ask you something.
I ain't King James. I ain't LeBron.
No, but you are a LeBron fan, and I had the same argument with a lot of other LeBron fans. Man, you gotta understand, everybody, you can't just plug and play and we go into the finals. That's your favorite player. He is that. I haven't seen another one other than the original 2-3 who we really ain't gonna talk about.
We talked about Anthony Davis. You can
plug him in. Listen. Let me make my point.
He can plug it into any offense. You're going.
Let me make my point.
Go ahead.
Let me make my point. So Harper. You feel like Tatum and Anthony Davis, with whatever you throw around it, that was going to win a championship that year.
Yes. I mean, it'll give you a chance. You got a chance.
So you picking them over LeBron?
No.
What? Yeah. What did you talk about? What year?
Tatum you year about, 2?
On paper, you talking about
Tatum year 2 and Anthony Davis, who's never been out the first round.
Give me a year. 2008.
That's what I was about to get on.
What was it? 18 or 19?
What success has AD had by himself?
He don't need no success.
Before last year, what success did he have?
He's a champion with LeBron James.
Y'all know players, like y'all know it's all about system and teams in the most part. Like you can tell me, all right, AD ain't done nothing by himself, but we all can sit and watch Anthony Davis and we know, okay, he a top 10 player and arguably a top 7.
It's a lot of top 10 players that ain't never won the championship. It's a whole lot.
Put him in the right system if you put him in the right system,
yeah,
he's
automatic
to make you a playoff team. If you put Anthony Davis in the East with Jason Tatum, I'm pretty sure that they're going to make, or if they stay healthy, they're going to make at least the Eastern Conference Finals, and they should win. Like who was going to be
already out the door before
Anthony Davis?
Right. Let's be
2 years ago. Who was going? You think Kawhi and them would have beat Anthony Davis and Jason Tatum? Kawhi and the Raptors would have beat.
We would be talking about the Warriors.
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be.
Warriors.
I'm just talking about getting to the finals.
And the one where KD has 2 legs.
Huh?
That would have been the. So you're gonna say, all right, let's put everything on the table.
You're not putting everything on the table.
Hold on, listen. We might listen, man. You're putting everything on the table if you're giving up Brown.
If you give up Brown, that's not everything. You still got Tatum.
But you said Brown is as good as Tatum.
They didn't. They wanted Tatum. If New Orleans made the trade, they wanted Tatum.
Well, give up Tatum. Either way,
so then we talking about Jalen.
So AD and Brown is going to win.
Anthony Davis is going to beat the Warriors.
So you talking about the 2019 Warriors that got hurt? That Kawhi
it wouldn't have been 2019, right? It would
been 18.
So that's the year that Toronto beat them in the finals.
No, 2018. No, they wouldn't have beat the Warriors.
Hey, Derek, I'm going to trade
would have beat LeBron James
Brown in year 3 with Anthony Davis against the Warriors. And look, if we don't win, we might leave.
You probably would have beat. You think you would beat? You think you would have beat LeBron?
And you got Humphreys down there.
You would have beat. Y'all would have beat LeBron and Clarkson and them boys. Y'all would have beat.
We would not have beat them.
Y'all would have beat them if y'all had Anthony Davis, because if y'all would have had Anthony Davis
in year 3
and Jaylen Brown, yes.
All right.
You also had Terry Rozier. You also had Marcus Smart on that team, if I'm not mistaken. You also had like you had Ball. You all had Al Horford on that squad. Y'all can't tell me that you wouldn't have been
in the trade.
You're gonna name every safety from the last 10 years, ain't you?
But that was that 2018
Al
squad.
Horford would have been gone. Al Horford would have been in that trade.
That when it, I don't know. I have to. I don't know.
Nah, Gordon Hayward would have been in the hospital bed.
Well,
how's he going?
Jaylen Brown year 3, he averaged 13 points and 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Yeah, that would have got us to the championship.
And he wasn't it.
What was Anthony Davis averaging? Y'all act like Jaylen Brown was
100. He wasn't averaging 100. Hey, he wasn't averaging 100.
Y'all act or James Harden like this.
No. This is to your point. This is to your point.
James Harden is not on the table here.
Listen, I'm talking about this year. Y'all see what James Harden is doing this year.
Can I get the floor, please? Can I get the floor, please? Can I get the floor, please? God, it's hard to talk between y'all. I see. Woo. This is the point that I'm gonna make. You saying bring AD in with a Jaylen Brown, right? Because they wanted Tatum in the deal. What we are saying is AD didn't do it in New Orleans with a Drew Holiday.
He didn't have enough.
His cousins.
He didn't have enough.
But the Celtics would have had enough.
Jaylen Brown is enough.
And for one, AD was in the West. This is the East. I'm just y'all keep talking about winning championships. Y'all can't even get out the East. I'm trying to get y'all out the East first, and then you can think about winning a championship. If you got AD or James Harden,
look, you got to understand. AD has struggled to even be one of the best 8 teams in the West.
AD didn't get the
play. Top 3.
What year was this? 2018? Was it this the year where AD had Boogie and Rondo?
He was a 6th seed.
And Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday.
The year y'all could have got AD was 2019. That was when
where AD was hurt.
He won't hurt. They sat him. They sat him because they wanted
when he got to LA.
He won't hurt. They sat him because they wanted to keep. They sat him because they wanted to keep him healthy.
Harper, that was the year the Lakers missed the playoffs.
That was also the year that LeBron James was hurt, along with Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball, and they couldn't stay healthy. They only played 12 games together. As all 3 of them only played 12 games.
Still had a chance to go to the
playoffs.
Who did?
Who only played 3 games?
LeBron, Zoe, and Ingram together. They only played 12 games.
We're not gonna talk about that season.
I don't know. I don't even know why Derrick brought it up.
That's when something popped, right?
That's when my boy caught his groin injury. He left and they was 4 in the West. Came back. They was fighting.
Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. He really seen that championship.
Don't get me started.
But please, you don't bring nobody into your business that don't want to work for you.
Exactly.
You would not do that.
The Raptors brought Kawhi in.
He never said he didn't want to go there. He never said he didn't want to go there.
And you gave him up for a 30-year-old DeMar DeRozan, and it took for KD to tear his calf muscle off for them to win.
No, that's true. But, I mean, you can't, that's stuff that you can't control. You can't predict that stuff. You think the Raptors thought that...
You can't, but he got out the East. What you just said, he got out the East.
You think the Raptors thought that Kevin Durant was going to pull a hamstring, or you thought that by picking up Kawhi, they was even going to have a chance? You got to take those risks, and you see the reward. You can't control what happened. You can't take that championship away from the Raptors.
Winning 50 games a year.
The
Raptors is winning 50 games a year, but if you had to bet any amount of money, if Kevin Durant does not tear his calf up early in the playoffs, it's tore all the way off. You ain't picking them to win 2 games.
Thompson. They would have no. The
Raptors. That's the point we making.
But the point I'm saying is that you can't control that stuff. The Raptors took a chance and it worked out for them. You can't take it away from him because Kevin Durant. You can, but you can't. You can in words, but you can't in the record books. They're champions. They took the risk and it paid off. You got to take a risk. That's what I'm saying. Danny Ainge, don't take risk.
I got a risk for you.
Who's to know what would have happened if James Harden would have went?
I got one for you.
This year, who knows what would happen? Or if Anthony Davis would have went, y'all probably could have won a ring real quick, or could have went to the finals. And Anthony Davis would have looked. It does.
It ain't that easy.
Anthony Davis would look and say, "Oh shoot, we got something going on. I'll sign a 1-year deal and see if we can, or a 2-year deal with a player option on the second deal.
You gotta understand something too.
Y'all didn't even try.
But you gotta understand this. It ain't enough for us just to go. We the Boston Celtics. We've been in the finals more than any team in history. It ain't nothing for us just to get there. We gotta bring it home. That's our slogan. Man, what the Boston Celtics.
You sounding like a Dallas Cowboy fan right now.
18. That's what it's about. Banner 18.
That's what we want.
That's it.
It's about getting that. And that's what you making it sound so good and so easy, and just go out there and do it. Like
it's not.
It's an automatic finals. Like it's an automatic championship. It's not.
But we won't. We will never know. Like who thought?
Well, look,
who thought the Raptors were going to be in the finals or be champions?
You didn't think that.
I didn't. You're right.
Exactly.
They took
you
a risk.
You wouldn't have took that risk. I want to touch on something else. This is a big topic for me right now. I talk about this with Derrick a lot. I want y'all takes on March Madness, but not so much on the actual game, which will lead into what I want to say. How much of this are y'all even watching?
I mean, I'm me myself. I'm not watching college basketball like that. I mean, I may watch a little bit. If I put some money on it, then I'll watch a game or two. But if Duke's out, so Duke and A&T. If Duke, I always tell people, if Duke and A&T ain't involved,
hey, really, you a Duke, Patriots, Lakers.
Well, I'm not necessarily. I'm a Laker for now. I'm a LeBron.
For now, listen to this. For now,
I'm a LeBron. He's an organization on his own. He got more finals appearances than some teams.
So he been shedding a lot of tears from the 6 losses.
Hey. But to get that,
why y'all hate LeBron? Like, what's all this hate? These shots at LeBron? Like, y'all, like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Like, what LeBron do to y'all? You sound like it. You taking shots at the man. Like, all right, like I get it.
But you had a lot of tears. That's all. But to the March Madness points, it's just a different time. And as you get older, you into it, but you're not into it. It's sports. So you're gonna watch it. Especially now, but it's just I'll say a different time in college basketball because it's not the Carolinas or the Kentucky or the Dukes in the in the tournament right now. You got some like a USC. They ain't really known for no basketball. You had an Alabama in there. You got an Oregon State. Things like that. So
UCLA.
Can I watch it?
First 4 in.
Correct. Can I watch it? Yeah, I can watch it, but it's not nothing that's drawing me to it like right now. Obviously NBA and you got NBA going on like right now, and it's just a different time in kind of sports, and you just got too much lopsidedness, especially from the pandemic. So
okay, so I bring that up. I wanted to touch on this. I was listening to my guy Bomani Jones earlier today. He made a very good point about, is it so much so the pandemic that is killing this? I'm sure it's a big part. Or is it more college basketball, specifically March Madness, doesn't have the same allure that it once had 5-10 years ago, to the point of, man, you used to have teams where like you recognize that team together, or like we had the Fab Five, and like you missing Fly Slim and Gemma, you know what I'm saying? The UNLV team, the Duke team, you know what I'm saying? The Carolina teams over the years. You don't have those teams. This is a revolving door of what guys gonna showcase itself this year. And I think after a while, very soon, the mid-majors are going to take over the tournament, because that's the only place where guys are staying together long enough to know how we play, know how you look in crunch time, who leading us, and you ain't worried about going to the next level because we all probably going to be playing overseas.
Correct. That's why they stand longer. The one and dones are, I won't say killing programs, but it's hurting programs.
It's already killed them.
When you looking at, I ain't gonna say it's already killed them, but it seemed like it's going in that direction. But I don't think it's going to be there, because when you hear I'm playing for Duke, I'm playing for UNC, I'm playing for Kentucky, guys are going to want to go there. And I'm sure if your son that nice and about to pick a school and you got Duke, Carolina, Kentucky, or Mercer, some Morgan State or whatever, Mercer College or Lehigh, you gonna go to those mid majors, or you gonna pick? I'm gonna see my son 20 plus games a year on TV. So it's a lot of thought that goes into it. I don't think it's
maybe not in the next 5 years, but in the next 10, the next 15.
It could be
now. Grow up, right. When your favorite me's favorite player didn't go to no college. You know what I'm saying? And his allegiance,
the rule, yeah.
Some of my allegiance, other than me living in this state, to Carolina is because I feel like a lot of the greatest players and the greatest player went to the school that I root.
Right.
Now, he won't have that. His greatest player went to high school. You know what I'm saying? Or the next guy went to the G League, or he went overseas for a year.
He's from Durham, so
right.
That's the relation to what he has with Duke.
There you go. Exactly. Right. So I don't feel like the fathers, you know what I'm saying? Like, one of us have a kid that's a phenom or something like that. I may really want my kid to go to Carolina, but me's may say, man, look how LeBron James did it, man. You can get here this way. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily need to go here. It's going to give people a different perspective than what we used to growing up. Right. And that's going to kill all the talent.
It is. And then, with just what's going on in the world.
Right. And that's what I think.
And the schools we went to HBCUs. And so, when you think about the legacy that you want to live on, I went here, you going here. Unless you like, oh, well, they give me a full ride at this school, you might want to go over there. I ain't trying to pay that money. You know what I mean? So you still got the events that are happening. And, obviously last year, which is kind of relevant now since the trials going on with George Floyd, you see what a lot of people are doing, standing up and donating all this money to these HBCUs. No strings attached. You do what you want to do with it. I just want to bless this school.
Right.
And then you got some of these 4-star, 3-star guys going into HBCUs because they're making a they want to make a difference and they want to see something done about it. And obviously, the latest recruit, Master P's son, going to HBCU, Tennessee State.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think
that's big.
Yeah.
I think it's more so. This year in particular, like it's COVID, man. Like, cause the reason that I wasn't like I'm gonna be honest, like I haven't watched college basketball like that all year, and I'm usually like and I'm usually watching, like, if I can watch a Duke game, it's gotten harder because in North Carolina, like all Duke games,
no, because y'all wasn't good.
No. It's because it's because of the COVID.
No, y'all wasn't good. But go ahead.
We won't good. But I was like, I'll watch my team whether they're good or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, but ever since I came to California, it's been harder to watch Duke games because they come on like the ACC network or something like that too. Correct. So when I was in North Carolina, I could literally watch every Duke game. But I know for me, I wasn't even making the effort to watch Duke games for that. For one, because of COVID, and for two, because they weren't good. But I associate because they weren't good was because of COVID. Because I tell people this all the time. Amateurs, college basketball is amateur basketball. They need practice. They're not like professionals. That's no excuse for my Duke boys being trash. Don't get twisted, because everybody else went through the same thing my Duke boys.
And I'll tell you why it's an excuse.
But that's
Duke had the top recruiting. Hold on, Duke had the top recruiting class in probably college basketball history 3 seasons ago. Didn't even make it to the Final Four. I feel like that season was one of the biggest failures of Coach K's career, and it was because guys didn't care about winning; they cared about getting to the league.
Coach K can't control. I agree with you in a part with the player aspect. Players just care about getting to the league in a sense, especially at that age. But I mean, I don't think that's the biggest failure in Coach K's career. Like, he can't control how players are nowadays, because he used to have 3, 4 year, well, at least 3, 4 year players that played and that sat up under him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and so now he has got these one and done guys, which he's recruiting. So you can't, that's who
he
he's
has
recruiting.
no choice.
You're right. He does have no choice, especially if you say,
I
want to come to do.
He can't turn them kids away.
Right. You can't turn them kids away.
And that's what I'm saying. When you see the Duke, when you see the North Carolina, guys want to go there. You know what? That's the biggest rivalry in college basketball ever. I tell people here in Philly.
Some people would say sports.
Yeah. I tell people that all the time out here.
It could be sports.
This
is the biggest game. When that game come on, every bar, every restaurant they got it on that game with the sound up, ready. So that's just my take. But it's time for Coach K to hang it up, man. I think it's time for him to hang it up.
No. I think Coach K.
Because in the last couple of years, all these players transfer.
Security at this point, ain't he?
We always have players transferred. We always have a player transferred.
Can they not say nothing about the program?
No, that just says that. No. That doesn't say nothing about. Yeah, it actually does say something. It says that you have to compete here. You have to come and compete here because
that's what it is.
I can't speak for this year, but any other previous year when a player or two transfers, it's because they're not getting any playing time, and that's because you got these players ahead of you that's balling out, and you.
So he was doing. He was selling the dream.
You ain't good enough.
When he was recruiting, he was selling the dream.
No. I mean, we tell you. I know what Coach K say. Coach K tell you, look, you gonna come.
How you know? Was you in the pitching room?
I know what Coach K do. Coach K come.
But me, look at it like this.
You compete. If you gonna play, you gonna play. Players cool with that when they hear it, because they're like, oh yeah, ain't nobody better than me. I'm gonna come in and I compete. Then you get in there and you got somebody that's doing everything better than you, and you sitting on the bench watching, and you like, dang, coach. And then when you get in, you don't.
Look at it like this. Now the way you're describing it is how it worked 20 years ago. That's how it worked.
That's how Coach K worked.
Hold on, but listen. That's not how he works no more. And I gotta say the same thing because Roy Williams is affecting him the same way. Now you gotta look at it like this. I got these again, how you said NBA players run the league. They run the league. These college kids look at it.
But they don't run college though.
Hold on, but listen. They saying, well, I'm gonna be there next year, and every school in the nation want me. And every school in the nation that have me on their campus. You know what? I'm gonna wait till the last day I can sign and make it a big event, like all these kids do every year. You know what Coach K probably done by then? I done promised the little 3-star recruit down in Solid City. I done promised this young man that he gonna be a big, intricate part of this team. And he's earned his stripes, done his thing of listening to my promises, and now he's signed on to go to the school. Man, last day of signing, it's about 5 or 6 5-star recruits left, and 3 of them want to come to my school. Hey, Zion. Hey, Cam Reddish. Hey, what's the other kid from Canada? RJ. Hey, we want to come out here. Nah, I can't have y'all. I done already promised this kid in Solid City that he was going to be my starting power forward. Oh, that's out the window now. That's not his fault. And then you know what they're going to say? Hey, Coach K, my son or my kid, Zion really want to come here, but Zion don't like practicing on Wednesday. Or Zion ain't playing too well.
Zion didn't do that. My boy,
he ain't practicing after 2 games or something.
Zai was
not necessarily Zion. I'm just using that.
I mean, he wasn't doing that when he got that money.
There's a Zion.
We showed that in court.
There's a Zion recruit on every big school. On every big school,
you're right.
There's a Zion.
Coach K don't play that. Because we don't need you.
Man, look like Coach K playing right along with that.
Nah, Coach
playing right along.
Coach K don't do that. He old school. He 20 years ago. He still run the program how he run it. Now I can't tell you.
You stay too old, you gonna get left in the dust.
Coach, not when you Coach K though. Coach K got it. Like I get what you're saying, and I totally agree. But when you Coach K, you don't have to do that type of stuff.
He didn't make the tournament.
That's not his fault. That ain't Coach K's fault. That ain't Coach K's fault. That's Coach's fault.
It's Doc Rivers' fault.
That's because no, that ain't Doc's fault either. That's y'all that put it on Doc. I told you that ain't Doc. I will say college is more so. College when the team loses, it's the coach's fault because college is more coach. But not for this. That ain't Coach K fault.
College
that ain't Coach K fault.
But Coach K, it ain't his fault. Wow.
Nah, Coach K can't control.
It is. He just didn't have the. He just didn't have the talent.
They didn't rise to the occasion.
He didn't have the talent.
This is the worst Duke team I've seen in years. This might be the worst Duke team I've ever witnessed.
You say this is the worst Duke team, but I guarantee you, any school probably from every state in the country would take all them guys.
They would.
They would. He didn't get it done, man.
That don't mean they gonna win. That don't mean they gonna win.
Make the playoffs. I mean, basically the playoffs. You didn't even make the playoffs. This LeBron James on the Lakers 2 years ago.
Wasn't even the last four in.
Y'all know
or the last four out.
Why y'all keep taking shots at LeBron like he did something? Like LeBron, y'all know the man was hurt. So leave the man alone. He was hurt that year. Leave the man alone. Y'all, people love to bring up the old, like the bad things.
But listen,
bring up the good stuff.
You say that, but you had an opportunity to actually make the playoffs. Right?
Dog, did you see the team? They was hurt. They weren't good. Like they won't. You act like it was a good team. Like they weren't good. What you want? And he was still hurt. He was playing hurt. He came back to try to bring them boys back. And then, I don't know what y'all want.
Anthony Davis, he's got out the wheelchair. He's going to do some shooting.
I hope so. I hope so.
We're going to see how it goes.
I hope, because if we don't have AD,
I'm going to talk about Markieff Morris.
Because if we don't have AD, it's not going to be good. Lakers ain't going to win. You got to. AD is very important because without AD, the Lakers can't.
He's the straw. He's the straw.
He's the defensive
anchor. What if
anchor.
you got AD and no LeBron?
Oh no. I would give LeBron by himself a better chance than I would do AD by himself.
Because they were the 13th worst team in the conference when he was there by himself.
Because I would give LeBron a greater chance to win the West than I would give by himself than AD, because the Lakers still are number one defense, but they would be I would think they would be the number one defense with Anthony Davis still, or a top three defense still with Anthony Davis, because he's what makes our defense go for sure. Like he's the presence. He's the anchor.
I thought it was Marc Gasol.
He was the anchor. He is an anchor because he's a big man. But we ain't had AD. We ain't had AD.
We've seen him for 7 games. He's done. Gasol is cooked.
He's cooked. He can't move, but he do a decent job. He'll do a decent job as a backup.
Yeah, all right.
Because he has a high basketball. He was a defensive player of the year, so he has a high
Wait till you get to see him. Wait till you get to see him hit the side of the goal, shooting them straightaway threes every other night in the playoffs.
I don't require him to shoot threes. I just need him to deter people from coming into the paint. That's all he is required from Marc Gasol for me. Since the Lakers are the favorites in the West and the Nets are the favorites in the East, who do y'all think won the trade deadline or the trade deadline buyout? Who do y'all think
are the favorites?
Well, who do you think won in between them two, since they are the favorites from East and the West, and everybody they have them in the finals?
Lakers and the Nets.
Yeah, who do you think won between them two in the trade deadline with acquiring, the players like Drummond, Blake, Harden, what's your boy name, LaMarcus Aldridge? Like, who do you think won or benefited the most from
the Lakers? No question.
Lakers.
LaMarcus Aldridge is old as LeBron James, and he's not LeBron James. And Blake Griffin dunked for the first time last week in 2 years. And he plays no defense. Aldridge plays no defense. The Nets still have no defense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They have no problem scoring. LaMarcus Aldridge getting the ball in the last 3 minutes of the game with Harden, Irvin, and KD out here? No, you're not getting the ball. So what purpose does he serve?
Right.
Drummond gonna rebound. Drummond's gonna be what Dwight Howard was.
Right.
What JaVale McGee was.
Yeah.
And maybe a better score on offense.
Maybe a better score. At least a bigger target.
Yeah. So he'll bring that defense. He'll bring that, something different that, y'all had last year with JaVale and Howard. And I think that was pretty much a big part of the Lakers last year, the size of the bench and the starting lineup, and how when you go to that bench, it ain't gonna get no shorter. It ain't get no shorter. So the Nets picked up some, pieces that they need that's veterans, but will Father Time step in and stop them? But it could help. You never know, because I don't think you're doing it in the playoffs. You preparing for one team.
Right.
And you making a plan for that one team. So I think KD, if he comes back, which I'm sure he will, KD, Kyrie, and Harden will take that ease off of them. They'll take the ease off of them, boys.
Right. They only got to play like
score. They ain't got to score like that. They just got to rebound, slide your feet a little bit, and maybe hit an open jumper, which Aldridge can do that. Blake, he's gotten better from three, so we'll see what happens. I ain't gonna say it's like a downfall that they got them, but it went like a home run for them to be, clear favorites. Obviously, they got 3 top 10 players in this league, but Lakers still got some uncertainty on that team when you think about.
We don't know
these players been injured right now, so how long is it gonna take? Is it gonna work?
The third best player on that team in the playoffs last year plays for the Clippers.
Rondo.
Not saying that he's better than Schroeder in 2021, but last year, Rondo was the third best player on that team.
Yeah, he really brought them boys together.
I'll keep it short, but I think the Nets won. And I'll say that because if we didn't get Andre Drummond, then we'd be in serious trouble. Whereas the Nets, they're balling right now. So you pick up Blake Griffin, you pick up LaMarcus Aldridge. I'm not too high on Blake Griffin. Derrick know that. I'm not high on Blake Griffin at all. He's just depth piece. He's just a name and a depth piece for me. If I'm playing Jeff Green over Blake Griffin all day long, but
I agree with that.
Jeff Green's shooting over 40% from three. Like that's but I think LaMarcus Aldridge he's a great pickup. Like you don't need LaMarcus. Like the Nets didn't need him. It was just an extra piece. Like it was just an addition, a benefit. Like you picked him up just to have him. And to me, I see him. He's not like Harper said. He's not gonna play, all those minutes. But you give him 15 minutes. I think LaMarcus Aldridge can do. He can do service. He can be serviceable. He'll, he can get on the boards, and then he's like a David West. I compare him to David West of the Warriors. Like he can give you some good minutes. So I like what the Warriors did. They just he can do something for their offense. Their offense, he fits into their offense, and they can work with him and things like that. And he can make their offense better. Their defense, I don't think they care about defense. I think they just gonna try to outscore people, play average defense, get a couple of stops here and there, and then they'll be okay. But I think LaMarcus Aldridge was a great piece for the Nets. I don't like him with the Lakers, but I like him with the Nets. So that was great. That was great.
Yeah, he gonna stretch the floor, especially when you got DeAndre Jordan. What he gonna do for you?
Right, exactly.
But pick and roll, and it ain't like you picking and rolling and kicking it out to him.
He's gonna be your most important player on the floor.
No,
so go ahead.
Definitely.
if they meet, but we'll see. We'll see.
It'll be exciting. The NBA. I'm excited.
That's when a coaching plan comes into play. How are we gonna defend this MVP like season that Embiid is having?
I hope Steve Nash is ready.
Embiid gonna have to show me something.
Another question mark about the Nets.
it is, but LeBron got there with Harper coaches.
LeBron ain't on that floor.
But it ain't. It ain't like
he's not.
You can't use LeBron. I hate people trying to use him as an example. He's an outlier on a lot of things compared. Like he's an out even with age. Like look,
You know,
he
like
makes up a lot of things.
Yeah, he do. Yeah, he's an outlier. So like, you gotta. I am curious to see what the Nets are going to do in the playoffs, and just even like last year with the Clippers, they didn't have as much chemistry, you know, because they didn't get to play as many games together. So I'm interested to see what KD is going to do when he comes back, what he's going to do when he's coming back, and how that's going to affect Harden and Kyrie, and even Blake and LaMarcus, because you got four alphas or five guys who are used to having the ball in their hand. So, you know, it sounds good right now, but when you get into the playoffs and who you gonna get a ball to, you know, and who's going, like, are they gonna be willing to give the ball up? Are they gonna be willing to be role players and to take that step back? Because if Blake gets going and he's going in the playoffs, and then, you know, he's going to think, you know, I'm supposed to keep feeding me. And then you're like, no, I'm going to take that ball away from you. You got to get Kyrie his shots. We got to get Harden his shots. So I'm interested to see that aspect of how these egos, you know, it sounds good now. Everybody's all for winning now. But when we get in the playoffs and you rolling and they take that ball out your hand because you ain't Kevin Durant, but he's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to see how that goes. So it's going to be, I'm excited. It's going to be
exciting. I think the second half is kicked off good. I thought it was going to be a lot more trades. I was just waiting for my Celtics to get Aaron Gordon. They act like it was just
I thought I was going to get Aaron Gordon too.
And then it just slipped in front of our fingers. But, you know, me and Mark had this conversation every game.
Right.
Every day. Especially, obviously, all of us on Twitter, which we all love. Yeah. And seeing so much.
I need your Twitter, please.
Oh yeah, I send it to you.
Yeah, we can definitely do that, and we should have made more moves with the picks to be in a better position than what we are now. And I think
that should have started years ago.
But I like where y'all are now than what y'all was before the trade deadline. Like I think y'all got.
Oh yeah.
Evan Fournier is a solid pickup. He's very efficient. He don't need many shots to get his shots. He's solid. Evan Fournier, I'm an Evan Fournier guy, so I like Evan Fournier. But
let's see, 0 points tonight, 31 minutes played.
Yeah, 0 points.
0 for 10, 0 from 5 from 3.
Well, I mean, you know, he got a.
Hey, look, I'm holding my thoughts. I don't have enough battery.
Celtics are down 5, which they down. Which they was still just down 18 in this game. That's why if you see me looking over,
y'all always down, but y'all seem to make a run.
It was the episode you already know. It was a lot to talk about, man. We got a lot of things we kind of hit on, obviously for the first episode, but I mean, we kind of went off on a couple more tangents, but you know, that's just opening up for more conversation and, you know, to have more people in these discussions and dialogue. So
yeah, man, this was good, man. We need to watch a couple college games. I want y'all's take on the environment, what's going on, if y'all feel like something needs to be added, or how the talent looks, or do the talent look interesting. And then I want y'all to look at the new improvements in the NBA and see who really felt what. We need to get some grades out.
Yeah, we can do that, man.
Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, you know, all these topics gonna open up other discussions, and we're gonna figure out something. But make sure y'all tune in, man. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on IG. We'll have it in the post, so make sure y'all tune in. But I'll see y'all next week.
See y'all next week. One in the books.
Talking Noise Podcast, man. Episode 1. Let's go.
Yes, sir.